in Judea. And Molnar even has the date, April 17th, 6 BC, just around the time scholars think Jesus was born. But is there anything in the Bible that supports Molnar's date? I think there is. Our theory suggests that Jesus was really born in April, but we need more evidence. Our clue is what the Bible says about the shepherds. They were keeping watch over their flocks by night. That's a clue as to the time of year when Jesus was born. Now, what months were the flocks kept out at night? Well, I'm from the Bronx and have no idea about sheep herding. So let's ask an on-the-spot expert.
Brahim. Anna Bob. Bob
Our expert is Abraham, a good biblical name, and he's been a shepherd in Bethlehem for 70 years. If anyone knows, he does. He says the flocks are out at night only 6 months of the year, April through September. No animals are left out in the fields in December. It's far too cold in Bethlehem. So we know Jesus wasn't born in December. But the animals are in the fields at night during the spring. This supports Molnar's theory that Jesus was born on April 17th. Molnar believes that the three kings, watching the sky in the east, would have seen these signs and then set out for the long journey to Jerusalem to greet the new King of the Jews. To travel from Persia to Jerusalem 2,000 years ago was no small thing. As the crow flies, it's almost 1,000 miles, straight through the Arabian desert. And remember, the three kings saw the signs in the heavens on April 17th. Summer was about to begin.
To avoid the blistering heat, they may have waited till September before starting out on their journey. Now, they're starting out in Persia. This is modern Iran. And Jerusalem's over here. But they're not going to take the direct route. They'd have to cross a vast desert. What I think they do is they leave Persia, go into modern Iraq, past ancient Babylon, and follow the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. They've got a water source. Then, at the narrow point of the desert, they cross it to Aleppo. From Aleppo, it's an easy route down to Jerusalem. Now, I can't be sure that this is their exact route, but what I am sure of is it took them months to get to Jerusalem.
But why go to Jerusalem and not straight to Bethlehem? Well, the star they were following only led them to a general area, the country of Judea. The sign on April 17th said a great king would be born in Judea. It didn't indicate the city. By the time they reached Jerusalem, the capital of Judea, it was winter. The infant Jesus was now several months old. Unfortunately for our three kings, they were entering dangerous territory. Herod, the king the Romans had placed on the throne of Judea, was given to violent rages. The Bible's bad guy deserves his bloody reputation. He'd already killed a wife, several sons, and hundreds of political opponents. But he was also one of the greatest builders of all time. Herod built the citadel on top of Masada, the steep mountain where the Jews staged a desperate last fight against Roman legions. Herod also built the huge Temple Mount in Jerusalem. When Jews pray in front of the Wailing Wall today, they are praying in front of a wall built by Herod. Look at the size of those blocks. They're huge. Let me show you where he got the stone. Beneath the city of Jerusalem is a lost world. The caves where Herod quarried the huge blocks for his building projects. Once, hundreds of masons worked by the light of oil lamps, cutting the blocks for the Wailing Wall and the second temple that it enclosed. Herod rebuilt the second temple on Temple Mount, and the three kings must have walked up these steps when they were looking for Jesus.
These steps led to an area that was open to both Gentiles and Jews. This is where everybody came for news and gossip. This is where the three kings had to have come to find out where the new king of the Jews had been born. But there was a problem. Herod's spies learned that there were three foreigners in town asking difficult questions, and they reported it immediately to Herod.
In the fall of 6 BC, when the three kings were in Jerusalem, Herod was not a happy camper. He had all kinds of ailments and was in constant pain. For relief, his royal galley rowed him across the Dead Sea to the therapeutic baths at Zara Springs in present-day Jordan.
Herod was suffering from chronic kidney disease and gangrene of the genitals. That caused him intense itching, pain in his intestines, convulsions, and paranoia. No fun. So he came to these springs to soak his diseased body. I sure hope it gave him some relief, because when the three kings showed up, he had even bigger problems.
You've got a paranoid king in constant physical pain who is told that three foreigners are wandering around Jerusalem asking, "Where is he that is born King of the Jews?" The Bible says that Herod was troubled by the news. I can tell you why he was troubled. There was a prophecy that a Messiah would come and free the Jews from Roman oppression. If that happened, Herod was history. But in spite of his terrible pain, itching, and paranoia, Herod kept his cool. He summoned his priests to find out if they knew anything about the new king of the Jews. They were probably aware of several Old Testament prophecies that the king of the Jews would be born in Bethlehem. So they told him Bethlehem was the birthplace of the new Messiah. On a December evening, 2,000 years ago, Herod held his meeting with the three kings here in his headquarters in Jerusalem. The Bible tells us it was in secret.
You see, Herod didn't want everybody knowing there was a new king of the Jews born who could replace him. So he sent the three kings off to Bethlehem, and he said, "When you find him, send me word so that I can come and worship him too."
Herod wasn't about to worship the new king, but he knew that if he sent his soldiers, the child would be hidden. Herod was using the three kings for his own devious purposes. Probably worried by Herod's violent rages, the three kings left immediately, traveling at night through the streets of what is now the Armenian section of Jerusalem. It was a 5-mile journey to Bethlehem, and once again, the Bible says they saw a star. Matthew tells us that as they set out, the star went before them till it came and stood over where the young child was. For centuries, people have been wondering what it could possibly mean. But now we know. Remember, it was a unique astrological configuration of the heavens that led the three kings to Jerusalem in the first place? And now, a star seems to be doing something impossible again, guiding them to Bethlehem. What could it be? Let's ask our expert, Professor Molnar.
So, Mike, we've got the three kings to Jerusalem. You have any idea what they're following when they go from Jerusalem to Bethlehem?
Okay, well, let's take a look at the program again. And let's watch the motion of Jupiter from April 17, 6 BC, when it was in the east, to later this year, towards December. We're now going to speed up time. Now watch what happens to Jupiter.
Okay, it's moving out. It stops and goes back.
Right.
It's going backwards.
Yes, that's right, exactly. It's going this way in the sky, and the way the astrologers described this, they said that Jupiter went before or went forward. Now here's an interesting tie-in with the biblical account, because the biblical account said the star went before them.
So Molnar has explained what went before them means in the Bible. Can he explain stood over where the young child was?
Now look at the sky as viewed from Jerusalem, and here is Jupiter.
Right.
And down in this direction is Bethlehem.
Right.
And guess where Jupiter is among the constellations?
In Aries the Ram.
Aries the Ram, exactly.
So to the astrologers, the sky is moving, but Jupiter, the regal star, isn't moving.
It's moving, not moving among the stars.
Right.
It is stationary.
Right. The
So
stars
it
are
stood
moving,
still.
the heavens are moving,
Right.
but Jupiter's standing still over Bethlehem. So it's really all about Jupiter.
Exactly, Bob. The Star of Bethlehem was Jupiter.
His theory is the only one that explains everything. First, it explains how Jupiter and astrological signs led the three kings to Jerusalem. Next, it explains how Jupiter then led the three kings to Bethlehem, and it even gives us the date, December 19th, 6 BC. Molnar's knowledge of ancient astrology has solved a 2,000-year-old mystery. Incredible, even today, you can still find the exact spot where the three kings first saw the star standing over Bethlehem. I'm walking the route from Jerusalem to Bethlehem. And for the first few miles, you can't see Bethlehem at all. Then you come over this hill, and there it is. This is where the three kings saw the star, guiding them to their goal, Bethlehem. So the star got them to Bethlehem on December 19th, 6 BC. That means Jesus was already 8 months old. But where did they find the Holy Family? Not in an inn, probably in a house not very different from this one.
ماريا اهلا اهلا بيك ممكن اشوفك؟ شكرا بيت جديد ها؟ تمام هناك ها؟ The mistress of the house, Miriam, explains that like many old houses in Bethlehem, the sheep and goats were kept in a cave, what's now her kitchen, and the family lived upstairs. The Bible tells us that when Joseph and Mary got to Bethlehem, the houses were full. Not an inn, that's a mistranslation. There were no inns or hotels as we know them in the time of Jesus. They were offered the only space available in Bethlehem, the cave downstairs where the animals were kept. That's why Mary put Jesus in the manger, a trough used to feed the animals. This is the Church of the Nativity. It's built right over a small rough cave, just like Miriam's kitchen. It is said that this is where Jesus was born. No one can be sure that this is the exact spot, but only 160 years after Jesus died, this was recognized as his birthplace. So here, in this cave, the three kings gave Jesus the gifts they had brought all the way from Persia: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Why these three gifts? Well, gold is easy. It was the most precious metal in the world, an obvious gift for the three kings to bring. But why frankincense and myrrh? They're just tree sap. I'll tell you why. Frankincense and myrrh were worth more than gold and were sent all over the ancient world. Today, people still come to the Cairo Spice Bazaar to buy frankincense and myrrh for digestive problems. But that's not why the three kings valued them. In ancient Egypt,
incense made from frankincense and myrrh was called